Hello and welcome. Welcome to How to Keep Yours and Your Partner's Love Tank Full. I did say love tank. I did not say gas tank. So you heard right. It's gas tank. Let me explain. I'll start with a joke. A chicken and a cow went for a walk and they noticed a billboard. And on the billboard, the big in black and white, it said, "We serve steak and eggs." So the chicken says, "Look, we're famous. We made it to the billboard." The cow says, "Don't compare the two of us. We're not the same. For you, it's just a measly donation. But for me, it's a total commitment." Here's communication that goes wrong. A husband and a wife want a date night. The wife puts on high heels and puts on lipstick, and she is ready. The husband, on the other hand, works hard all day, and he puts on his sweats and his t-shirt. He just wanted to relax at home and have dinner at home and do some work with her in the house. They didn't communicate what the date night was supposed to be. So the word echad, which is Aleph, Ches, Dalet, and the word ahava, the gematria is 13. So here we go. The word echad, Chad and ahava. And the word ahava, they both add up to 13. 1, 8, 4 equals 13. 1, 5, 2, 5 plus equals 13. The word ahava and echad, they both add to 13. God is one. And when you love God or you love another person, you become one with that person. How to make this work? How to make this work? So love, a relationship is like a ping pong. You hit the ball and you have to hit it back. A relationship, back and forth. You do for me and I do for you. Only God is unconditional. No matter how you behave, whether it's good or bad, God's always going to love you. And vice versa. Chas v'shalom. God, if he does good, which is always good, but sometimes it looks bad to you, you'll still love him unconditional. So only with God it's unconditional. But otherwise, as a human being, love has to be reciprocated. I love reading books, but this book that I read has totally changed my mind, totally changed my life, and I want you to know about it. And this is what I'm telling you. Let's say, for example, there is a boy from America and a girl from China. The reason I'm using America and China because it's totally different and opposite of the spectrum. Different culture, different language, different ethnicity, just totally different. But these two people fall in love and they get married. But how did they communicate? How does it work? But they love each other. So they gesture, they do things for each other, and they take time to learn the other person's language. Bingo. They begin to be sensitive to each other. They meet each other's emotional needs. They share activities. They hold hands. They hug. Well, let me explain to you. There's five ways of filling up somebody's love tank. And there's 5 different ways to fill up somebody's love tank. And we're going to start. Dr. Gary Chapman says, inside every child is an emotional tank waiting to be filled. If a child misbehaves, means his gas tank is empty, his love tank is empty. When the child behaves, that means his love tank is full. He's got people to love him, people to take care of him, people to say they're proud of him, people to give him hugs, people to give him security, people to give him gifts, people to make him feel that he's important. When a child or a person doesn't have that, and you see them misbehaving, means their love tank is totally on empty. Totally on empty. So what are the types of the 5 languages that will help a marriage or help a child fill up their love tank? First one is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is words like, I'm proud of you, you're the best, you're handsome, you're pretty. These words mean a lot. Mark Twain once said that one word of a good compliment will hold him for 2 months. He'll feel good. Just one word. The next one is quality time. Date night, going on bicycles, playing games. Do not interrupt when your partner is speaking. A study was done that when one speaks, the second one only listens before 7 seconds before they interrupt. 7 seconds before they interrupt. Try not to interrupt. The third one is receiving gifts. For example, this ring, which is a gift, is a symbol that you belong to somebody else. Sometimes one of your partners needs help. It's my birthday or anniversary. Give them a hint. It's okay. Give them a hint that something special is coming up. And also, if you when you give a gift, make sure you give it with your full heart. The fourth one is acts of service, where you cook for somebody or take the garbage out or doing something, washing dishes, doing something for that person that they don't have to do, or you do it together with them. That fills up the person's love tank. And the last one, which is the most important, it's physical touch. The power of touch causes pleasure in the brain. Holding hands, giving a hug. I learned this in 1985 when I first started Cal State many, many years ago. And the experiment went like this. They had a librarian who was checking out books with people, and she had to have absolutely no expression on her face, nothing. It had to be nothing, just solemn. And she could not touch them at all, not touch their nothing. Just take the books and put it in the bag and say nothing. The second experiment was she also had to check out books from people and had absolutely no expression on her face, but the only thing she could do is try to touch them just this much, the slightest touch. take the books, but the slightest touch them. Now they interviewed the two groups. The people that did not get touched, they said, I had a horrible time at the library. The librarian was miserable. I didn't get what I wanted. The second group of people that were touched just like this, they said, oh, the librarian was great. The checkout lady was pleasant. Touch is something very powerful. And it just does something in the brain that makes your whole body feel good. So Dr. Gary Chapman wrote this book. It's the best book. You have to read it. It's called The 5 Languages of Love, what I just explained to you. Now, before reading that book, my husband and I both took a little test, and to see how compatible we are in those 5 languages of love. So this is mine. I like words of affirmation the most. That's 37%. 20% was physical touch. 20% was acts of service. 17% was quality time. And 7% was receiving gifts. These are the things that are important to me. When you take the test, you'll get a choice to do it as a couple, to do it as singles, do it men, military, children, or teens. I did it as a single, and my husband did it as a single as well. Now, my husband also had words of affirmation. He scored 30%. I had scored 37%. His was 27 acts of service. Mine was 20% act of service. His quality time was 23. My quality time was 17. He needs more quality time than me. So I need to spend more quality time with him. Physical touch is 17. Physical touches is 20. So I need to give him more hugs, more holding hands. My getting gifts to me was only 7%. His getting gifts was 3%. So both of our thing is words of affirmation. So my husband and I, in order to fill up our love tank, we both need to say words of affirmation, because that's the most important to him and most important to me. When you take this test, even without reading the book, you just plug in, take test or take quiz for 5 languages of love. You click on it and you'll get started. They'll ask you your age. They'll ask you if you're a female or a male, and if you're single or you want to take it as single. And you'll see. Even if yours is totally different than his, it's okay, because they're 2 different love languages. You have to see what's important to him, and you will do what's important for him. And the vice versa, the man will do what's important for you, what is most important. But once you know your love languages, then you could better get along and better communicate. So again, I'm asking you, please take this test, take this quiz before reading the book. And the book is only like 170 pages. It's a very easy read. By the way, this 5 languages of love also helps with teenagers, also helps with children, also helps with men, everything. It's a great read. Enjoy. Have fun.